Why don't you come on over here and sit down? I got to talk to you. It's hot. It's hot. It's cold. It's cold. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
Mike Jones, how's it going, buddy?
It's good. How you doing, sir?
I'm excellent. Thanks for coming out. Justice of the Peace, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me what a Justice of the Peace is, if you don't mind.
Well, Justice of the Peace is one of the lower level courts, and what we do a lot of different array of cases. We have small claims cases. You know, if somebody has an issue with your neighbor across the street or right beside you, tree falls on your yard, and then you can't handle the dispute in public. Well,
whose fault is it?
Yeah, you'll come out here to the Justice Peace Court, and we'll help resolve that issue.
More civic matters as opposed to criminal, right?
Yes.
You're not. Are you doing criminal?
Yes, we do criminal as well. So you have your Class C moving violations that you have. You get pulled over by the state troopers, sheriffs.
Okay.
They'll come file tickets in our court as well.
And your county, that's a county thing.
Yes, it's a county position. It's actually located, it's called Precinct 4, located in about 7 cities. Goes from up in Grand Prairie, Irving on down to DeSoto, Duncanville, and Ovilla. So we got 7 cities in that precinct.
And it's an elected position. You have to run and garner votes and get support and win, right?
Yes, correct, sir.
Okay.
That's correct.
I, too, have run and experienced that process. It can be stressful and it can be fun. Mm-hmm. Obviously funner when you're victorious.
Yes.
Speak a little, if you don't mind, about the campaign process. A lot of what I think about on the city side is we're nonpartisan. Mm-hmm. I'm happy because I'm pretty independent that it's nonpartisan. And I'm not here to speak about Democrat and Republican, but I'm not used to running a race where you have partisan issues. So whatever, I think you run on a Democratic ticket.
That's correct. So
dealing with a Republican that's against you, a Democrat in general, as opposed to just you, Mike Jones.
Well, actually, I didn't have to encounter that. I've actually had one, the last opponent in which I was victorious. He was actually a Democrat, the previous, my predecessor. So from there, what happens is you have your primary races where you have your Democrats that square up against each other. Or your Republicans that square up against each other. Whoever prevails out of that goes on down to the general election, and where the Democrat versus the Republican will
run.
Will run.
So then in the general election in your particular district is more likely it's more of a Democratic so there's less of a run, less of a competition type thing. Is that kind of
that's fairly correct.
You don't want to assume, but
right.
Okay, so the real fight then in that situation is the Democratic primary.
That's correct.
Wow. And now, okay, and that's talking about the other judge in your office. Mm-hmm. So I remember her talking about how that was the race. She was actually like third at one point, and she got in second in a runoff, and then won runoff. Okay.
Yeah, hers would probably fit that more of your scenario. You actually had the initial primary election. I think she had 2 other opponents.
Okay.
From there, she wound up making a runoff, which was additional election from the primary election. From there, she won that. Then had the general election where she went against, because she's a Democrat, she went against the Republican. So in essence, you have 3?
Oh man,
3 elections.
Oh, and that's in less than 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. You got your March, so March, and then you go April, May, June, on down to November. So.
And how long is your term?
4-year terms.
Okay, good. So you get some rest in between.
A little bit.
Yeah, I know state legislators, it's like a 2-year term.
Oh man, I know they get beat up.
I think they run, they go to session, they run again, and then go to It's a full-time campaign.
Yeah,
I guess there's pluses and minuses to that, and you depending on what you want from your politician, do you want them making law or do you want them running campaigns, right? And
right.
So it's interesting. I guess there's both sides you got to promote, but
and also when somebody was running, you can really kind of see what they're actually doing. Especially, and I look at it from another aspect of them running them 2-year seats. Maybe you want to make sure that you have a lawmaker because they, in essence, make laws, revise laws, things like that, introduce bills.
Yeah.
Maybe that if they're not being effective, then you can sort to a different candidate. If they are being effective, then go ahead and have them to kind of run back again and keep them in office.
Yeah, excellent. And that's, I mean,
because laws, legislation, every year or so often.
Legislation's every 2 years.
Yeah, so
every off year. So in your JP court, did you start night court? Is that something?
No, I didn't start night court, but I've started teen court.
Teen court, that's what okay. That's interesting, man. So tell me where the teens come from and why is it called teen court? What's that all about?
Well, my court docket also has truancy cases. So I hear juvenile truancies, and what people may not know, that is pretty much where the state requires you to be at school at least 10. You can't miss no more than 10 unexcused absences. Those that go over that threshold go through different processes and wind up getting filed on, and then come down to the court to kind of get your remedy on that and your relief. Yeah. And so what happens is I have teen court, in which that is a model that I've kind of mimicked from City of Irving. I think Plano has it. Okay. And where you provide an alternative type of punishment, alternative legally binding alternative, as opposed to me rendering a judgment. So in essence, you have your peers around your age that can judge you and give you that type of alternative relief. Okay, so before teen court, what was happening to a 10-day absentee that was in your court? Well, before that, you mostly had just put them on probation and fine them. Fine them? Probation and fine. I'm not a big guy of fines. I reduce the fines all the way down as much as I can. The fines are tough, man. And because the thing is decriminalized as well, so it's not much you can do. The kid's not paying the fine. Of course. So it's up to the parent. Yes. Well, if the parent can't get the kid to go to school, they probably don't have much money. I mean, it's probably a similar deal. They don't have money to be paying a fine. Well, not even those situations. I do more than just with that, and which that is true, because I do have a lot of parents that are unhappy, especially the kids, maybe 13, 14 years old, not working of age. But I always ask them, are you working? Things like that, and try to make sure I steer that responsibility on them. Yeah. And then sometimes I have alternatives where I'll make them do community service at the court. Yeah. Okay, so teen court, community service. Is community service part of the process, part of their consequence? Can be, yes. Okay. It can be. I mean, they have a different array of consequence you can do, whether that's community service, whether it is a fine. Yeah. And it's just different things or it can be if they can find out that they didn't have any, recourse as far as actually having, being true and doing that behavior. So it's a lot. So pretty much it's like a little master jury of youth that are judging you on it and kind of. And so I picked up on that, but it wasn't clear at first. Mm-hmm. So you literally have a jury of teenagers. Mm-hmm. Now, are they ones that are also in trouble, or are they picked out separately? Good answer. It can be both. Yeah. Most have been volunteers that are the ones that are actually on the juries. Yeah. But I do occasionally mix in some of the ones that are not volunteers, but actually are on the defendant's side. Yeah. So I will actually mix the defendant going to be the one, the defendant actually is to serve on a jury. Sure. So okay. It's kind of a. I feel like community service is not prescribed as maybe it used to be. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But you and others have said, "Oh, we don't really do community service, or we do just a little bit." From your perspective, why do you think that's not used as much? Is it kind of like fines in the sense that you can't get them to do the service, or is it less effective? People may think it's more effective, but it's how you talk to a lot of the youth, if you can relate to them. Yeah. I may have you do community service at the courthouse. Come and see how things work behind the scenes. Yeah. Or, we can have community service at, we also partner up, matter of fact, with Grand Prairie's police department. Okay. And the other municipal judge, and we actually had police department created the HELP program, and I would actually assign them to do community service at the HELP program. Maybe that's part of it. The partnerships, the programs that people can get community service, so they don't just go to their church and say, "Hey,
I picked up a piece of trash. Give me 2 hours of community service. Actual programs that you guys are familiar with and have partnerships with.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And the reason I bring that up is, man, I was a troubled youth. I mean, I was getting in trouble in middle school with the years where I was just up to no good. Mm-hmm. Whether it be fighting, saying bad words all the time, calling people names. I never skipped much, but because that's where I got to go, because it was fun to me. You get to get in trouble with your friends, and so I ended up doing a lot of community service because of that. and I'll tell you though that is part of who I am today. Mm-hmm. All I want to do half the time now is go do some charity event, or if we go as a group to clean up the lake. Or point is, I'm always part of why I've gotten to my position, I think, is because I'm constantly doing nonprofit organization stuff. And a lot of that stemmed from, in my opinion, some of the community service that was assigned to me as a youth.
Yeah, and people recognize that and actually see that.
Sure.
And if they see whether you was a troubled youth or not, they can see that and see that you've changed and went a different direction and start supporting you.
So you've got the city, or you've got the police department you're partnering with. Mm-hmm. Now the city, and Mike, I'm not trying to get in your business, but I'm just trying to figure some of this out. Like, we have the big event.
Mm-hmm. Which event?
What's called the big event, but it's
okay.
So the city of Grand Prairie, this will be the third year we do it.
Okay. It's
a community volunteer program, and we have literally thousands. I think the last year was 2,300 volunteers. We all get together. The city organizes what you do that day. And you can come as a church, you can come as an individual, you can come as a small group, and you go to a place and you work for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever is prescribed. Being a city event, would it help if you had a partnership with the city? Are you more likely to assign community service to kids?
Yeah, I could. It depends on what it is, how it's structured, how it looks, but every kid, and I'll back up a little bit. The way that the court was done before, more of the kids was sentenced more of a group, and when I got on, I wound up continuing that, and I didn't like it, so I changed it. So now I do more evaluative towards each individual kid, because everybody's situation is different.
Absolutely.
So I can evaluate a kid. Well, this was a mess up, something easy. Okay, I can sign him to go to this big event or customer service deal, or this person has a little bit more rough past going on right now, or current situation, they need more counseling. So I can refer them to the local counseling center. I think Children's First Counseling.
Absolutely. So I brought you over there and got to take a look at it, right?
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
We got a partnership with any nonprofits, anybody that has any counseling. Anything that's effective that can as an alternative that we can do. So it's more than just probation stuff, and I really kind of cut a lot of that stuff out.
Sure. And here I am. So I guess community service is a form of probation, right?
Yeah. I mean
it can be because
conditional.
Conditional. Right. So I can see where the probation kind of steering away from that. Well, and I'm piping in on the kids part of your judgeship, and I'm forgetting that you still got a whole other plethora of things you're doing there. So
not just that, and then I'll add a little bit more just so you know more. We went from doing a lot of the probations. I started having them write essays the last year.
Oh wow.
Kind of gives them a direction as far as what you're going to do when you get out of school, or what you want to be, and maybe you can start looking at direction. Was slightly effective, and I remodeled where now I don't do a lot of those, and I don't put on probation, but we do sign-in sheets. So I have a court order sign-in sheet to go to make sure you go to class.
Okay.
And it's becoming more effective. I've got a lot of I have a lot of kids that come back for their reevaluation periods at Grand Prairie that get off. And when I say get off, they complete successfully. That they went from 60 absences and 60. That's my 60. Tardies and
a
late.
year.
Yeah, this is in this current school year from August until now. And they turned it all the way around. They may have 2. Yeah. So, and one thing is I may say I want 0, but if you can cut that thing down, give me, 10, 5, I'm going to
show me some improvement,
and I'm gonna work with you, and that's what it's about.
Okay. And again, I'm harping in on the kids part of it. I've definitely found myself leaning towards over the years, focusing on the kids. One, it's hard to tell an adult what to do. Two, the kids are still being shaped, right? The quote stuck with me. It's easier to build a good man than it is to repair a broken one.
Right.
And so that did stick with me. And at first I thought, if you tell a kid you need to do good, well, everybody's telling them that, right?
Right.
Whoa, not as much. Like I assume that, and yes, people are telling them that, but I find myself sometimes you just tell them again, or they're really not hearing it that much. And there's some kids at Adams we mentor, and some of them, they hear it all the time. Hey, you need to do good, you need to do good. And some of them, I say, hey, if you need some help with that, I'll help you. And they're like, their eyes light up like, really?
Yeah.
Once I started seeing that, I realized the importance of just a knucklehead like me can make an impact on some of those kids. And so that's why, you get in front of the ones that aren't even showing up to school.
Right.
And so if nothing else, an encouragement to you to continue what you're doing.
Thank you.
But also to offer help or guidance or assistance if I or the city obviously can help out. There's definitely opportunity there. And, the mayor of Grand Prairie does do, he promoted the Big Brother, Big Sister program.
Mm-hmm.
So where now it's in the high school. So if you go to Grand Prairie High, there's a program where you ask for a big. And so there's 60 kids up there right now that don't have a big. Now, this isn't a kid that's in trouble. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These are just kids wanting to have that other influence. Sometimes the Big Brother, Big Sister program is like somebody who's lost their parents or they're just having trouble type deal.
Right.
Whereas this is more directed towards mentorship. Exactly. And that program has or Big Brother, Big Sister has multiple programs in the sense that you can do one email a week, and every 4 to 6 weeks you meet with them, or you meet with them once a week, and it just kind of has its level. So think about that. I'm sorry, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. This wasn't the deal, but just sharing thoughts and ideas.
No, it's good because we got to share resources. So what I don't know, I'd like to know, and things like that.
Certainly,
back and forth.
So tell me then, just to touch on a couple things outside of the truancy. You said that you did it's the misdemeanors. So is this more like tickets and stuff?
Class C tickets.
And this isn't like speeding. This is
they're speeding. You have the nice state troopers that'll pull you over.
So state troopers.
If
it's in your county.
Mm-hmm. State troopers most likely is off 161 somewhere. Yeah. And then you have Dallas County Sheriff. Okay, they'll file into the court. I don't think DART runs through Grand Prairie, but DART actually files fare tickets, fare evasion tickets, and things like that. They're coming out of court. I also get some tickets from school districts. They'll file juvenile assault tickets as well. Okay. So I get a good array of different tickets in there.
The good thing is you're getting experience of every type of deal. There's no specialization here. Maybe a little bit, but it sounds like you're getting an array of things.
Yeah, we do a lot.
What is the political side of it? Do you get political pressure at all? You ran as a Democrat, but Justice of the Peace office. There's no political parties telling you to do something or not do something, or is there a little bit of that? Or
the only thing I think that you have to look at is, one, you got to make sure you satisfy the citizens on the reason why you was elected. So people who normally use that court pretty frequently will maybe be the ones that may put a little bit of pressure, or ones who are just not privy to the court system.
Right.
They are uneducated in the court system.
Yeah.
And those are ones that we provide additional resources, or we have resources available for you out there. Okay. Because we can't give legal advice.
What about evictions?
Those are good as well. We actually have packets to give for individuals who don't know how to do an eviction, because people come in, they want to file the paperwork, they want to ask us questions, and honestly, we can't answer those questions.
Is that the landlord?
If landlords, yes.
Okay.
Landlords.
But then also the tenant
Mm-hmm.
needing some type of protection, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can't answer them yourself, right? You're saying you're directing them to
all I can
resource.
do is I can present them the resources, whether the plaintiff or defendant, which is landlord or tenant, on how to file eviction, or they can give you the information to how to file appeal.
Yeah.
And you have to fill it out, but we can't do anything as far as directing who, what, and where.
So attorneys, can you send them to, or say, here are eviction attorneys, here are...
We don't give specific attorneys. What we do is we'll push them towards like North Texas Legal Aid if they don't have any monies.
Yeah.
SMU Law, I think they have a section of attorneys.
Does the court, I've heard this, the court generally, just because of the way the contracts are built, are landlord friendly. And landlord friendly, I think, is a tough word, but because the contract is set up, the courts tend to be more landlord friendly. Like, you can't just say, oh, can I get a reprieve, or can I get an appeal? Well, what's your reason for your appeal? Well, did you pay your rent? You didn't pay the rent type deal?
I think it's not about the courts, but it's the way the laws are written.
Well,
the way the leases are written.
Thank you.
One is a TA lease.
The contracts, the leases.
A lot of the leases, especially if you're getting a lease drawn up from somebody.
Yeah.
That lease drawn up by that one party, if it's not a promulgated form, which means that it's made by Texas Apartment Association, whatever.
Real Estate Commission.
Yeah. If it's your own lease you're drawing up, you're going to favor your side.
Yep.
And so you want to make sure that the leases you have that you sign, one, you're looking over an attorney. Now, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of times you go into the apartment complexes, you sign what's there and keep on going.
Yeah.
But you have to read that writing.
Yeah.
There's one with TA lease that has it really favors, honestly, it favors apartment complexes.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Texas Property Code chapter, I believe it's 92 and 93, tells you that you have to have these certain conditions to move forward with eviction. If you don't have these conditions, regardless of that lease, then it's not going to be granted. So it helps protect the tenants from those situations.
Okay. And I'm glad we pointed that out, that it's the law that protects it, not you or the court. I mean, you're just reading the law and making the law be applied correctly.
Look at us like a referee in a football game with two teams.
Exactly.
We're there in the middle. We want to make sure that everything's getting run accordingly, stuff is being filed and things like that.
And I know I've seen it happen. There's appeal processes that tenants can go through if they do it the right timing, that you can still stay in your home for a while. I bring this up because Grand Prairie High basketball, they got a game tomorrow night. They're 9-0, 10-0 in district.
Excellent.
22-1. They're ranked 10 in state. Listen, man, this is a miracle. I mean, Grand Prairie's never been good in basketball. On the team, they've got guys that this is crazy. His dad's a drunk. He rolled over and killed his little brother. One guy he's like the oldest of 10, and of course, he's already a man. He's raised his siblings. Anyway, and then another one we're talking. He lives with his grandmother. She's getting evicted from the house, and we were just kind of we as supporters of our local school were going down resources trying to figure out how we can help them out outside of just giving them money, right? I mean,
right.
But then what do? Then that landlord gets screwed if you want to help the kid, but you don't want to help him and then screw somebody else over. Right. The interesting go down. With
those situations, I always add a point of time in court where if they're able to kind of work it out right there in front of me as just an extra gesture before I move forward eviction. Yeah. If an eviction is granted on my end, I also have a list of numbers and resources. And if you have some resources for the local area as well, please share. Yeah. But I have a list of numbers of individuals, tenants, if they're evicted, going through hard times, the ones who really need it, we usually give them a list for them to kind of help with their transition. The third-party individuals.
There is a charity here in town, but it's specific to homeless kids, students in the program, that they'll house. Now, if Cole Humphreys is homeless, they're not going to help me. But if a student doesn't have a home, and we're gonna look it up and plug it at the end of the just to make sure. Well, Mike, I I want to talk a little bit. So you, real quick, you were a councilman before in another city.
Yeah, I was the mayor pro tem for the city of Glen Heights.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. How long did you do that for?
About 2.5 years, I believe.
Was that the mayor pro tem or your total time there, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
So you were able to be council for, and council.
I was elected to city council. We went through our, your yearly ones where you vote for the new mayor pro tem, and I was voted in at that time. Probably about 6 months later.
Excellent.
It wasn't that long.
Sure. And we have that similar deal. We have the mayor pro tem and such. So the mayor's not there. Were you able to practice a couple of times?
Yes, I was.
As mayor?
Yeah, I presided.
Yeah, puts a little pressure on you, but then it gives you good experience, I guess. Mm-hmm. Mayor intentionally misses our mayor in Grand Prairie so that the mayor pro tem will get experience.
That's good.
That's just the kind of guy he is.
That's a great succession plan as well.
Yeah. And then also, what about? So are you still practicing real estate?
Yes, I am. Yes,
okay,
I am.
And that's commercial real estate.
Uh-huh. I have my own brokerage, a small firm with a few agents. Also, more family-owned business. My wife is one of the agents as well. Okay. So I focus more on the commercial side.
Okay, and leases, sell, both.
Yes,
all the above.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
both.
Do you mess with residential at all?
I don't. My wife, she does.
Okay.
Or other agents that I currently have.
Sure.
But I've also branched out to more of on a teaching aspect, so I do a lot more teaching in real estate, mostly commercial real estate.
Is that CE stuff or just?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Initially, it was qualifying, and what I mean by qualifying, that's the initial course you take to be able to get your license.
Okay.
I taught those at the Tarrant County, and then Cedar Valley and Dallas County, and then now I do continuing education now.
Okay. And that's for your license accredited CE courses.
That's correct, through the Texas Real Estate Commission.
How many hours does a real estate person have to have of CE? How many CE hours?
I think about it's like 18 or 21. I couldn't think.
A year, right?
No, it's every time for renewal. And when it's time for your renewal, I think every 2 years or 4 years, whatever your stuff is. I think it's every 2 years.
I'm about to start my GRI certification.
Oh, sweet!
And I'm doing that to line up with my CE. Good. I think the first year you have to do it. I got no idea what it is. I don't even know what GRI stands for right now. I just know if I'm going to take CE classes, might as well line it up to get
the whole certification.
Yeah,
it's more of a certification. I mean, those certifications make you more
knowledgeable.
There you go.
You're an expert in that area type deal, not just a general guy.
You got it.
Insurance. I'm in insurance, and then we have those certified insurance counselor and such. So
sweet.
Mike, do you have any quick topic, any promotion you want to give while we're here? You were talking a little bit. I mean, you teach the classes. Do you charge for that? I mean, that's type business, or is it just your brokerage?
Yes. It's business. I actually teach at the local boards. Most of every agent is tied to a local real estate board. That's Metro Tex.
So is that where you do yours?
Yes, I'm actually starting this year, second, maybe third quarter.
Excellent.
There, I'm down for Collin County Association Realtors in March, which is next month. I'm also down for Arlington Board Association Realtors. Which
nice. Yeah, that's where I go.
That's where you go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you may see me there.
Nice. Yeah, GRI next on, I think, the 19th and 20th 2-day class. It's brutal, man, but we'll power through it. Man, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you got a lot going on, so we'll let you get out of here, but consider coming back. Any topic, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to focus in on, we'll do that, or we'll just sit back and chat and have a good time.
Hey, I like both.
Nice. I appreciate it, man.
Hey,
take care.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
All right, now.
See you.